is all that I know. The old made new. Jesus, when I read you called my name, and I ran out that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan, now you call me citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing, now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you call my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day.
Good morning, Rooted Men. Pastor Tom, Firmly Rooted Church, Greendale, Indiana, Oxford, Michigan, and a lot of places in between. It is Monday morning. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Hope you got a chance to be a part of the service yesterday or the Bible study. If not, know that they're out there on Facebook and YouTube and X. Got a different computer, got the same camera, different microphone. Wanted to hear from you that everything is sounding good and the video is okay. We're going to be looking at Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and going to want to say hi to a few people. It looks like we've got several people on board. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let me start. Let me scroll down here and see. I'm out there on X. Good morning, Rooted Men. Ken, whoops, where'd you go? Ken Gooch, there you are. Good morning, fellow brothers in arms. My cousin, Dave Donnelly, good morning. Chris Connolly, good morning. Bert Reggiani, good morning. And Ken Gooch says, we're all good. Woo! Finally got the technology pulled together. So great to have all of you on board. Let me pull up the reading with Ecclesiastes. And this sounds a lot like Proverbs. And the portion that we're going to be looking at today is going to sound a lot like maybe the Sermon of the Mount, which all makes sense because Jesus is the Word become flesh. And so it's not surprising that Jesus, who touched this earth and began to teach, is going to echo the very thoughts that he gave writers of the scriptures hundreds or thousands of years ago words to speak, right? I mean, it's kind of cool that it works that way. But let me pull up the text. Boom. And let me do this. Boom. All right. You should see it. Let me pull it up for me so I can see it. He who digs a pit will fall into it, and a serpent will bite him who breaks through a wall. Words like this are said in Proverbs as well as Ecclesiastes. And you have Jesus talking about setting up nets and either catching fish or failing to catch, that we're foolish to be digging a pit. The one who digs a pit is going to fall into it, and a serpent will bite him who breaks through a wall. right? Because they're nested in there, right? And so those who break through a wall to try to steal, to try to do something evil, are going to get bit. He who quarries stone is hurt by them, and he who splits logs is endangered by them. He begins to talk about the fact that there are simply certain tasks that bring about a risk. If the iron is blunt and one does not sharpen the edge, he must use more strength. Obvious, isn't it? It is just so obvious. He's been talking about work. He's been talking about putting our nose to the grindstone and focusing on just getting things done in life. And he's beginning to tell us that even in our labors, there's risk. In all that we do, there's risk. He talks about how a fool, in order to try to gain something, might rob someone, and he's going to get bit. It's eventually going to come around. Judgment will come around. But I love this reference. I am not a tool person. My dad was not a tool person. He never fixed a car. I rarely saw him fix anything in the house. Taught me all sorts of things about athletics, but not to fix anything. And then I watch people in my life who like just have all the know-how and they have all the right tools. If the iron is blunt and one does not sharpen the edge, he must use more strength. Whether it's actual physical labor that we do or whether it's emotional relationship effort that we do, if we don't sharpen the tool, if we keep going the same way, if we keep using the wrong tool, we're just going to expend more energy and more energy and more energy. So you think about God's love, you think about God's eternal truth, you think about in life, there's so many tools that make things easier to do. We all know. We've all been there. I've had my son-in-law work on the car and watch him pull the right tool out and I'm going, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have thought of that. I don't have that tool. I would have done this. I would have been wasting minutes and hours. What if there are some corollary to our spiritual lives? That we tend to kind of keep going at the thing the same way we always do and somehow expect a different result when maybe we got to grab a new tool. Or maybe we have to sharpen the tool, sharpen the truth, sharpen the wisdom. And notice the very next thing he mentions is wisdom. But wisdom helps one to succeed. Every single day, going at something the same way you always do doesn't mean that you'll eventually break through. You just might get broken. Whether that's a relationship, whatever that might be. But wisdom allows us to back up and say to myself, I'm living out the definition of insanity. I keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Hey, maybe I should try something different. Maybe I should step into something different, step into that relationship different, stop thinking the things I'm thinking in my head and think something different. Wisdom helps us to succeed. And I think this is the last verse I have. Let me check. I think I have to verse 11. Yep. If the serpent bites before it is charmed, there is no advantage to the charmer. So obvious. So obvious. But my question is, does sometimes the charmer get so confident that he thinks he can dance with the devil and not get bit? do we think we can play in that game and we're smart enough and wise enough, know when to pull out and get out? How about we just don't play the game in the first place? How about we just don't play the game in the first place? That we submit to God, resist the devil, and have him flee from us. The point is, the writer of Ecclesiastes is saying we don't have to do it the way we've always been doing it. We can do it different. With God's love and his eternal truth, with Jesus giving us examples, with the whole New Testament, with the history of the church fathers, with Christianity going over thousands of years, we can see that there are some different ways to do things, and we don't have to keep doing them. We can begin to think maybe every single day, not my will, but thine be done. How about that one? And so I'm trying to figure out and find out, Lord, what's your will? What's your will? I'm done. I'm done trying to take the blunt tool and work so hard to get something accomplished when maybe I got to see if you're even building the house, because if you're not building the house, we labor in vain. And before I start preaching, I probably should end. But on this Monday morning, as you look at this week, I think I and the writer of Ecclesiastes would ask you to see this week different. Pick a thing that you're concerned about, an encounter that you're going to have, and do it different. Bring different tools to the situation and see what God might do. All right, let's see who popped in here at the end. Steve Giroux, good morning. Brian Vlaming, good morning. Pat, good morning. Steve Giroux, love this. Well, love you, and I hope that this devotion was a blessing to you. We'll be back again at 8:40 for Strengthening Our Roots. Blessings on your day. Make it a firmly rooted day, and may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.